Good evening everybody and welcome to Top Shift number 15. Now, this is interesting. I've upgraded and got rid of the Cobra. I'm now in a Lakon Type 6 hauler. This is a lot more of a cargo vessel than the Cobra. 100 tons worth of cargo you can carry and a jump range that makes the Cobra pilots very, very jealous. However, on the downside, it has a paper-thin hull and only 2 Class 2 weapon points. So, if you get jumped by a bunch of pirates, you are as good as toast. So, what I thought I'd do is I'd just do a quick trading run. I'll take some mineral extractors up to Morgor. Relatively safe run, I hope. And if I look over here, I've still got 61,000 credits in the bank, even though I've got a full cargo hold, so with a bit of luck, even if something untoward happens, I've got enough to completely re-kit the machine, the code out. Ooh. The one thing about the Lakon, it's noisy.
Ship released. Engines engaged.
And there we are, we're away. I've pulled up the undercarriage without a problem. And to tell the truth, for a ship this size, it is surprisingly maneuverable. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be taking on Eagles, Vipers and Sidewinders in this thing. Subject of which, Trinity Anderson wants to come in. So we'll let her get out of the way first. I'm not quite so sure what she's doing, so we'll just slip out this way. And there we have it.
Detecting hostile scan.
Like I said, this thing has a jump range which is phenomenal. You can get to every single system in the beta using this ship, where you couldn't in the Cobra. And we will jump.
Drive charging.
In fact, getting to Morgor on a Cobra, that's a very long round trip. You couldn't do it in one. And here we are doing it in one jump with a full cargo bay. Still quite impressive.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, why am I actually flying this ship when I don't actually like trading? Well, the main issue with this is to make as much money as possible, upgrade through the Type 9 and possibly the Anaconda to give them a try, and then once I've made enough money, sell it, and then buy the most powerfully equipped Cobra I can get. I think the Cobra is going to be my ship of choice, surprisingly enough, because of the balance. I want a combat craft, not a trader, but I want to be able to basically trade to a certain degree to cover any costs. this, I'm afraid, does feel a bit like Space Truckers. But if you look around the hull or the cockpit, it is quite impressive. Got a big, nice cockpit, lots of visibility, and too much yakking because I have just missed a docking pod. Oh, an interdiction. An interdiction in a class Type 6. Well, to be honest, I'm not going to wait around and find out. Ooh, 4 sidewinders. There's no way I'm going to go and deal with this. Now, this is a trick that I think they're going to get rid of in the next beta. Beta 2.
Charging.
Mostly because it's too easy to run away from these incursions, or interdictions rather. Which is fine for me at the moment, because I certainly wouldn't want to take on 4 sidewinders in this thing. So what else has been happening? Well, at this moment in time, the Frontier crew have been out in Gamescom in Germany, demonstrating Elite Dangerous to the journalists out there. It seems to have gone down reasonably well. They've got quite a little bit of coverage. PC Gamer and oh, I can't pronounce it. Katu, the Asian gaming website had picked up on it. Someone has been playing Elite Dangerous constantly on an Oculus Rift DK2 for 2 weeks and reported back. I'll supply the link in that in the notes. I myself have been in Fantasticon the last weekend, an event run by Fantastic Books, and that's Dan Grubb and his wife Gabby. A superb little con that had all the elite authors there for all the fiction books that they've been doing, and also they had a whole load of LAN parties. I got my first go on the DK2, the Oculus Rift DK2, and I must admit it was an astounding experience. Thanks to Double from the Great Expedition. Oh, hello. Flying a Type 6 with the auto flight off is not recommended, I don't think. It's just a little bit too crazy for me. Anyway, thanks to Double, he allowed me to use his the DK2 that he'd brought with him for a good half hour. And after I'd finished, I must admit, I just sat there spellbound because it was so immersive. Very, 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 very deep experience as far as this is concerned. And unfortunately, there's no real way to describe it. You have to experience it. Because the closest I can say is there is a 3D mode in this game, and what I'll do is I'll switch it into 3D mode. If you want to actually see this game in 3D, in the 3D mode, you will need a pair of the red and green 3D glasses. You know, the kinds you get with 50s comics and things like that. The old style 3D, not this flashy new stuff. And you can flip that through to give you a good... You can flip the video into 3D mode and put the glasses on, and it gives you a close proximity to what it might be in the Oculus Rift. But when you add in the extra thing like the head tracking and the surround sound, and the fact that when you move your joystick and your throttle, your avatar or your pilot
Request
also
granted.
moves his hands and in the same way that you do, it just makes you feel as if you are right there in your cockpit, and that's all you need to worry about for the rest of the world. And what is this idiot doing? Is a Sidewinder coming out? Oh, and he scraped me. Right, I need duck in Bay 23. Now there are three sizes of landing pads, or maybe four. You've got Class 1, which is for your Sidewinders. You have Class 2, which is Cobras, Vipers, that kind of thing. And then you get the Class 3, which is basically for the Type
Warning.
6.
Landing gear not deployed.
Oh, thank goodness for warnings, eh? And down we go. I haven't had much luck in landing this, I keep on bouncing it. Ah,
Docking
there we go.
successful. Engines disengaged.
Back. Now normally I would go into the hangar. Unfortunately this ship makes such a racket when it's in the hangar, I don't want to. So I'm going to take the risk and hope that nobody starts shooting at me from the upside. So I've got the starboard services and get rid of all this cargo I'm carrying. Yeah, but back at Fantasticon, there was the majority of the elite authors that were done, that were published via Fantastic Books. So we had Kate Russell, whose book's mostly harmless. I'm starting to read that one just now and thoroughly enjoying it. It's chapter 4. Comedy, sick sense of humour sometimes, but I am enjoying it. Then we have the historian Alan Stroud, who wrote Lave Revolution, and describing the situation of what's happened and the planet of Lave, which I think anybody who played the original Elite game knows about. How it became a democracy in the latest game. And that was a good read, and it was sprinkled with a whole load of little info bites and little bits of history about the whole Elite universe, which is why and also an explanation why we have a Viper Mark III, not a Viper Mark 1 or Viper Mark 2. We had Drew Wagar, he was there with Elite Reclamation. Again, that's another book that I've read. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Good space opera type romp. And then we have the Tales of the Frontier, which is basically 15 short stories, all in one collected volume. And there's a couple of the authors there as well. So hats off to them, and especially Darren Gray, who sorted out my copy for when I originally backed Tales of the Frontier. So I've got 4 of the 5 books piled next to me right now, and there's just John Harper's And Here's the Wheel to Come. I'll have to wait till next payday for that. So yeah, what made the event even better was that you also had the Elite Encounters RPG there. Now joined in us in a session there, and thoroughly enjoyed it. It does feel a bit Traveller-like, but that's not surprising. But it was good fun, and I managed to shoot a couple of people, which was very therapeutic. So, but meanwhile, we're here in a low population extraction economy. My goodness, I made it here to an anarchy. Ooh. And look at the balance, over 100,000 credits. That's what you want. Right, what minerals can we do with here? Galite. Right, I wonder where we can sell Galite. Oh, better get some fuel. to think what my repair bill would have been if I'd stayed to try and fight those sidewinders. Ugh. Right. Into the 3D view. We know it's a mineral. So, gallite. Take technology off. So all in. That might be a good one. Dahan. Acellus Primus. Well, you see, there's plenty of places to take this. We could take it straight directly to BD plus 47. But I fancy taking it to ourselves. Yeah, you can also see the vast amount of system links which are possible in the Type 6. Look at that. Practically every system is available, including these ones at the top. Melee. What's that? That's an agricultural. LS 2884. That's another extraction. I am tempted to go to Acellus Primus, so we'll do that. Acellus Primus, and we'll. Oh, hang on. No. Because there's something interesting. Because I had Uranite selected as well, it was showing the trade route for Uranites. So, as you can see, I could have gone to the wrong system thinking there'd be a market there for gallite, but there wouldn't have been. So in this case, it looks like Acellus Primus might be the place I want to go. So that's anything in the bulletin board. Discrete help required. No. Long distance transport. Ooh, hello. What's that? Hydrogen fuels to LP 64194. No, I'm going to make more cash just doing this one trade run than just 2,000 credits there. That's definitely one for the hauler. Right, Galate. So there's not enough money. So we'll get 89 tons, leaving us with 409. Contrary to this, you might guess that if I crash or get pirated, or even if another player decides to gank me, that's it. I'm back in the Sidewinder. Fingers crossed. They have fixed the little exploit where if you destroy it or stop the task, the Elite Dangerous task in the task manager, it means that it will restore your ship. Basically, you destroy the task before the server's notified that your ship's been destroyed. However, they've gone and fixed that one in this beta, so I can't even do that trick anymore. Right, that's one nervous bit over and done with. So, Dahan. What's behind us? There we are. yes, it was very nice meeting all the elite authors. They quite kindly signed their books. It was I had a little chat with Kate Russell about the Raspberry Pi, and as far as I think Dan and Dan and Gabby were both running around like crazy, and but it was still, as far as I was concerned, a very successfully run event. Definitely up there with LaveCon.
Drive charging.
So what's coming up next? Well, we don't really know. We know that Frontier are having discussions about Beta 2, what's going to be in it. It is part of the iterative process where they're adding more and more content in with every release. I will admit that a lot of the players are backing off again because basically they're flying around in their anacondas and they're all quite happy, but they've run out of things to do. Mostly because it's a limit of the hyperspace limit, or the they've maxed out an anaconda to the maximum, and some players are saying that that's what they're setting out to achieve. Personally, for myself, I would like to be able to fly. By the end of this process, I would like to have flown every single ship that's been made available to us, and also visited every system in the beta. I'm getting there, and now with the Type 6, I'll probably be able to just
Ready to engage. 3, 2,
create a list and go through them all, and hopefully not get shot up in any of the anarchies. As you can see, the heat in this for this hyperspace ship has really built up. Might be something about it being overheating.
critical.
Good old Beagle 2. Now apparently the ship that I'm looking forward to the most is definitely the Asp. The Asp was my ship in Frontier and Frontier First Encounters. Also, in addition to that, it's also in my fiction story, but there'll be more on that at a later point. So what I'm going to do is, when I get to Beagle 2, I'm going to switch the display into 3D mode to try and give you an idea of what it would be like with an Oculus Rift. An interdiction. That's if we reach Beagle 2.
Warning. Temperature critical.
Well, that's a bit of a worry. Oh, two Cobra Mark 3s, that's not good. Just let the temperature drop a bit.
Drive charging.
And you see, in the original game,
4, 3,
I wouldn't be able to do that.
2, 1.
I would have had to stay and fight. Or at least drive them off, because didn't have to. I've seen cases where you can just damage a ship to a point, but the pilot panics and runs away. So what I would recommend at this point, if you have a pair of the old red and green 3D glasses. Pause it, find them, and hopefully if I've got this right, this will work in the video. The other thing that was given away at Fantasticon was a whole load of Dockers mugs. Yes, again, I reiterate, the one rule about Dockers is we don't talk about Dockers. I mean, I must admit, that does look pretty. Now, in previous betas and alphas, as you would approach one of these rings planets, you'd see a massive drop in frame rate. But as you can see here, it's very smooth. So that's another fix that they've put in. Those kind of things that were happening, you accepted it as part of a beta, but you can see the new levels of polish going in with each iteration. Right, let's pause this down. Put on your 3D specs. Just a second. Now, I might as well point out, when you go into the options menu, you are still moving. So, anagraph, that's what you want. And it'll give you a kind of black and white smudgy image. So you resume, and you put on your 3D glasses. Now there, if I start looking about the cockpit, you should have what looks like a 3D cockpit. There's my body, if you like. Oh, look at that! You've got a full schematic overview. A good example of that, as you can see the depth, the difference in depth between the seat head and the control panel. And even at that point, you can make out the depth between Beagle 2 station and the planet behind. I'm going to see whether or not I can dock in 3D. Excuse me while I just alter my 3D specs. Might have to do it one-handed. Ah, well. So, as far as the Lake is concerned, I mean, it's got a top speed of 345 with the boost, which is it's reasonable. It's not as fast as a Sidewinder, but then what do you expect with something like this? And it's not so much as a cow as you think. It's not far behind the Cobra, but it is into that bracket where you certainly know it's a freighter and not a fighter.
Request granted.
Right. How have we done? That's not too bad. Right. So, when you have the Oculus Rift on, not only do you get the same level of perception, of depth rather. Pull that back just a tad. Oh my goodness, there is some shooting going on. And something went bang.
Detecting hostile scan.
Oh dear. That didn't look good. Wow. Now who did the hostile scan?
Detecting hostile scan.
Well, doesn't seem to be any players about there. Right, 23. I think 23 is right at the back. As I thread my way between the Sidewinders and the Cobras that are blocking my path. Sorry, bigger ship coming through, get out my way. Undercarriage down. That other ship must have been carrying smuggled goods. I do know that Beagle 2 and Dahan are notoriously trigger-happy Viper pilots that do like to take out a smuggler or two if they find the scan in that way.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Right, and now that we've landed, a quick look about the space station. Wow, in 3D. And you can see that these big windows, so you've got a really good field of view. Right, you can take your 3D glasses off now, because I don't know about anybody else, but if I wear one of these 3D glasses for too long, it actually hurts. Right, Starport services. Always refuel. That's 456 credits profit per ton, and I've got 89 tons of it. Ooh, lovely money. Look at that. Almost tripled my cash from what I started out with at the beginning of this session. So, thank you for watching, and hopefully see you out there soon. Good night.